Okay, here we are for part two. I'm going to try to make this one a little bit shorter than the last one. 20 minutes is kind of a long time to watch a video about math. Um, so there'll be this one and another one, and then we're going to call it the end of a module. So we're going to talk about the ogive now. I really should have put this into the last video, but the last video was running a little long, so I thought I'd cut it there and give you a break, like I said earlier. So an ogive is really a line graph that represents the cumulative frequencies for all the classes in the frequency distribution. So if we go back to our last example about the bowlers, the ogive is going to be a line graph of just this data here. All right. So to make this doable and easy for life, I'm going to go back to my data in Excel. So highlight these guys. Excel was giving me a problem with this earlier, so I hope it works again. I'm going to go to Insert, and then I'm going to go with the line graph. And so here we go. Here's our line graph. It gave us the ogive without any problem whatsoever. And really what this does, what's kind of nice about this is that it can show us a growth rate over time so that we can see the vertical jump between 221 and 222 bowlers to our 234 bowlers. This little bit here had the largest increase. Then it kind of leveled off a little bit. Then you had another steeper climb over here. And it can kind of help you see where the biggest jumps were in the data over time or over as things increased cumulatively. So I wish I could make it more exciting than that, but basically that's an ogive. The other types of graphs that we talked about, and you can go back to the beginning of your notes and check these out on that first page. One of them is the bar graph, which we talked about, which is just displaying them using it's actually not much different than a frequency histogram. It uses vertical or horizontal bars to represent the different data. And then you also have the pie graph. So for the data here, I talk about a town's budget, where we have in thousands of dollars how much they spend on salaries and benefits, the police and fire department budgets, highway department and parks and recreation budget. So again, in order the bar graph is okay enough to do by hand, and you would do that the same way I demonstrated the frequency histogram. The pie graph or the pie chart is kind of a pain to do because you need a circle and a protractor, and you got to measure angles and figure out percents and all this other stuff. If you want to make your life easier, here I took the salary and benefits for the budget categories for our town, and I just typed it into Excel. Then I'll go to Insert. I've got a couple of graphs here. I'll do the bar graph first. So I'll do Insert, Chart, and I'll show you a bar graph. So this is the bar graph for the different budget items. How much is spent on park and recs, highway, police, fire, salaries and benefits, and it gives you the totals in hundreds of thousands of dollars on the side over there. Ooh, there we go, deleted that graph. You know what, here, I'll put it back up. There's that graph for you. So I'll change the title of this to bar graph 1. All right, and I'll move that over there. Insert, we'll do another chart. Here, we'll go over here. So these are your column graphs. It can be that type of graph. Bar graph 1 can be like that. See if it'll let me make another graph. So over here's the button for your pie chart. And we're going to insert a pie chart. And maybe I'll try to, there we go, make this nice and big. So our pie chart over here, you can see how you have the whole pie. And then you can actually insert these into the graph as well. As you see, as I click on the different sections, where is it here? So series 0.1, salaries and benefits, $728,000 makes up 53% of the budget. If we go over here to police and fires, 32% of the budget. Highway, 10%. Parks and Rec is 5% of the budget. So that's how you make a pie graph using Excel. It's the same way in Google Docs, Google Sheets as well. So those are our bar graphs and pie graphs. The pair 2 chart is used to represent frequency distributions for categorical variables, and the frequencies are displayed from highest to lowest using vertical bars, which are arranged in order from highest to lowest. What separates this from a regular bar graph is the fact that our data is arranged in order from highest to lowest. So if you notice what's going on here, in this data set, I talk about the number of 911 calls to a call center. They're just listed here arbitrarily, and the numbers go from juvenile complaints, there's 92, loud music complaints, there's 27, drug offenses are 79, DWI, DUIs are 38, and then there were 65 disabled vehicle calls. When you go to do this in your pair 2, you have to put them in order. So here I've sorted my data: juvenile 92, drugs 79, disabled vehicles are 65, so on and so forth. So now we're going to go through, insert. I'm going with my column chart again. And here you can see how it goes from largest to smallest, the number of calls to the 911 center that we receive here. Okay. This is going to be the end of what we're going to use Excel for. The following types of graphs that we're going to be looking at are the time series, the data, the dot plot, and the stem leaf plots. We're going to do those last in our next video, and I'll show you how those go when you do those by hand, because they're actually easier to do by hand than to do with the computer or calculator. Okay, thanks.